Most people treat job interviews like a high-stakes memory test, trying to perfectly recall everything on their resume. But hiring managers already have your resume. An interview is actually an exercise in strategic storytelling. You are there to persuade them that your history matches their exact needs. This shift in mindset applies immediately to the first question you will hear. Tell me about yourself. It is tempting to recount your entire life story or list every job you've ever had. Instead, treat this prompt as a targeted pitch. The most effective way to structure this pitch is a simple three-part formula: present, past, and future. You state your current role, highlight a past experience that proves your competence, and explain how that background aligns with this specific company's future goals. Let's map a practical example to this formula. You might start by explaining you are a recent marketing graduate. For the past, you highlight a recent internship where you increased social media engagement by 35%. Then, for the future, you connect those skills directly to the employer by mentioning your strong interest in their specific data analytics initiatives. By organizing your background into this forward-looking framework, you immediately demonstrate that you are a strategic thinker who understands the value you bring. This sets a professional tone for the entire conversation. Once you get past the introduction, you will face behavioral questions. These usually start with, describe a challenging situation, or tell me about a time when. This is a common friction point. Without a strict structure, it is easy to panic, lose your train of thought, and ramble about irrelevant details. To navigate these questions, use the STAR method. This is a definitive framework designed to keep your answers concise and impactful. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. You begin with the situation and the task. This is where you establish the context and your specific responsibility. The key here is brevity. Give the interviewer just enough background to understand the problem without getting bogged down in office politics or unnecessary backstory. The bulk of your answer should focus on the action and the result. You detail the exact steps you took to solve the problem, and then, crucially, you share the outcome. Quantifying this result with numbers or percentages is the most critical part of your story. Let's test this. Pause this video right now. Write down S, T, A, and R on a piece of paper. Think of one specific professional challenge you faced and outline your answer using bullet points for each letter. Take a minute to do this before you continue. Welcome back. Remember, a workplace story without a quantified outcome is just an anecdote. But a structured story that ends in a measurable result is direct proof of your professional competence. Even with a solid framework, interviews contain trap questions. The most famous is, what are your weaknesses? Many candidates try to use fake flaws, like, I work too hard, or they expose a critical liability without any context. Neither approach works. The winning formula for this question has three parts. First, state a real, honest trait you struggle with, like focusing too much on minor details. Second, outline the specific action plan you are using to correct it. Finally, reveal the improved outcome, showing that you are actively learning to balance quality with efficiency. Another major obstacle is the sudden brain freeze. This happens when you are hit with an unexpected or highly technical question, and your mind goes completely blank. The worst thing you can do is start guessing or sit in awkward silence. Instead, you can use specific vocabulary to safely navigate the freeze. If the question is confusing, politely ask for clarification by saying, could you please clarify what you mean by that? If you just need a few seconds to process, buy time with, that's an interesting question. Let me consider that for a moment. Requesting clarification or taking a moment to think reflects a methodical approach to problem solving. It signals to the interviewer that you prioritize accuracy and clear understanding over a rushed response. At the end of almost every interview, the hiring manager will turn the floor over to you and ask, do you have any questions for us? This is the final pivotal phase of your evaluation. Replying with a simple no is a massive red flag. To an employer, having no questions indicates a severe lack of preparation and suggests you lack genuine interest in the role. You need to construct high-value questions that show you're already thinking about how to contribute. Ask about specific role expectations. A great example is, what would success look like in this position after 6 months? This forces the interviewer to visualize you succeeding. Let's consolidate everything we've covered. Take a screenshot of this cheat sheet. It holds your core frameworks. the STAR method for behavioral stories, the 3-part formula for handling the weakness question, and your emergency phrases for buying time and gathering your thoughts. Mastering these frameworks moves beyond simply reacting to questions. You transition from a candidate hoping for an offer into a professional actively evaluating if the role and the company align with your career goals.